Hi guys, it's Jenny with Art for Good. Today I'm continuing my mixed media experimentation, and we are going to use some spray paint over wet acrylic to create some shadows and depth in this amazing beach scene. So let's get started. I'm starting with some hot pink. So this is actually a mix of neon pink and a mix of medium magenta. I will put all the colors and brands of all the paint in the description below for you. My paint pour recipe is 1 part paint, 1 part Floetrol, and then I add water until I get to the consistency I want. For this, it's really a versatile technique. You can use pretty much any consistency you want, although I do err on the thinner side, so I add a little more water like you would for a Dutch pour, because we are going to be blowing out this scene with a hairdryer. It just makes it easier for the paint to move. So I'm putting the pink in a copper color in the center, and then I'm going in with my metallic Cobalt. This is one of my favorite colors to use. It's an Artist Loft brand, and I just love the shine to it and the color in general. I'm also adding in some sky blue. I did speed up this video slightly just so that I could get this to upload quickly and so that I could get to the point in showing you all how to do this technique. I also mixed in some custom color here, a little bit of that cobalt color with some white, just so that I had a lighter version of that. The goal is to kind of make the center of the painting look like a light source or the sunset in an abstract way over the water, perhaps in the ocean or a lake, really whatever your imagination wants it to be. So as you can see, I'm just layering paint so that we pretty much have all of the canvas covered. It doesn't have to be fully covered, but I want it to be pretty close. I'm also deciding to mix up here on the fly some metallic white. I actually love how the metallic white is a little softer than like a titanium white. So I've been using that a lot lately in my paint pours. The canvas size that I'm using is 18 by 24 inches. You can get these in great deals in bulk by purchasing from Michaels in their pro section. Great tip that I learned. All right, I'm layering in some white here. That also helps produce cells. All right, I'm just tilting it a little bit. I want to cover up as many of the white spots from the canvas as I can. Sometimes it gets a little hard to cover everything when you're doing the hairdryer, so I just find if you've at least covered everything, you should be good to go. All right, so I'm starting in the center and just blowing upward. I use a standard Revlon hairdryer. I'm not exactly sure of the wattage, but I've had this hairdryer forever. And if your paint is thin enough, you can use the low setting to really get your desired effects. If you're looking to do like a very flowery type of Dutch pour, you probably want to use the low setting. For this, I really want to blend all those colors together, so I'm using it on high. And I'm just gonna go in on a second layer with some more pink here and some more copper. I put the black down at the bottom because it helps to create sort of a focus area of the center, but we'll do that a little bit more when we add the spray paint later on. I'm also spraying this. This is another trick that I do. I'm spraying this with water. If I really want these colors to blend together in an abstract way that almost looks like it was hand painted, I use just straight water bottle and just spray it down to help that paint really move. You can do some really cool things with just spraying water on the paint. I have a whole playlist here of kind of a tie-dye effect you can get. So if you're interested in checking that out, I'll put a link here. Okay, so I'm mixing up some more neon pink because I didn't quite get the effect that I was looking for in the first attempt here. So now I'm just gonna go a little more straight in there with that pink. I'm using a V like this because if you are to look at, say, a photograph of a sunset and you're looking at the clouds, often they have that perspective like this where it kind of bows upward towards the edges. So this is just helping to use fluid acrylic to create kind of realistic type abstract paintings. All right, so I added in a little bit more turquoise in there and some more water. I'm just gonna keep blowing this out until I'm kind of happy with it. And it's really remarkable what can happen once you just add some spray paint in there. So I'm going in with some white spray paint. This is just a satin finish spray paint that I bought at the hardware store. I will put the exact brand and everything in this description below, as well as a link to where you can find it on Amazon. So I went in with white just to barely dull that pink, and now I'm going in with a turquoise to just create a little more shadow and a little more focus in the center of that painting. I'm also going to do it at the top because as the sun is setting, the kind of higher up in the sky you go, the darker it's going to get. I love how it actually creates this really abstract, almost speckly look when you use spray paint. I've really been interested in that effect lately. All right, now I'm going in on the edges and the very bottom with some black spray paint. Make sure you protect your lungs when you're working with spray paint. You want to do this in a ventilated area, and you want to use a ventilation mask. I have one that I like. I will again put that link in the description below. It actually is so good that I can't even smell that there's any kind of spray paint happening. And, so you definitely want to take care of yourself. You don't want your passion for art to have any bad side effects for your health, of course. All right, now I'm just making sure all of the edges are covered. And I'm gonna keep playing around until I'm 100% happy with it. This is always the danger zone for me, where you might do too much to it and then completely ruin it. So I'm trying to work slowly so that I can just make changes incrementally and not completely ruin all this work that I just did because I overdid it with the spray paint. Okay, so now I've taken some spray paint and I'm actually sprayed it into a cup, and then I'm using a plastic spoon to just drop that in. I want some brighter pieces of color in here, and I'm experimenting a little bit with this spray paint. So I'm finding when I tap with my finger, it's actually creating some pretty cool, almost impressionistic type colors in here. So I think I'm gonna kind of go with that theme and sort of dab with my finger around just to create these little blocks of color. It's also gonna help me create a horizon line that is a little more focused since I did the spray paint. It's almost looking like those little spots where I'm tapping look like clouds or little pieces of the sky popping through. I really like this effect. Now I'm doing the same thing towards the bottom because this is going to be the reflection area. So I want it to look a little bit similar, but also a little muted because that's going to show like it's reflecting off of the water. You can really use this technique with any kind of colors you want to use to create kind of nature-inspired landscapes. I'm probably going to do a few more of these. I sort of have 500 different ideas in my brain right now of things I want to do videos on, and so stay tuned for all of that. So once it dried, I just went in with a very small paintbrush and added some tiny little dots. I added in a little bit of yellow just to create some additional focus area. I also added in a little bit of white. All right, and this is the final piece. As you can see, it looks very misty, very abstract. I really love how this turned out. Let me know how you like this in the comments below also, or if you give it a try, even better yet, why don't you send me a picture of it as well. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'll see you next time.